What's up, guys? It's your boy MattPack420 here, coming at you with a new one. And today, we finally get to celebrate because Governor Abbott signs constitutional carry into law. So this is fantastic. I've been waiting for this one. Been waiting to do this video. I've been checking every day and seeing where we're at with this bill, and finally gone through. So I was getting at it on Twitter with these freaking anti-gunners. And it's always with these far leftists. They make no sense. See, they want to defund the police, and they want less cops. Alright, fine. Then they also want no guns. Okay. So, if there are no cops, and there are no guns, what do you think's going to happen? Earlier on Twitter, some guy was telling me that the cops have a problem with white supremacy, how a majority of law enforcement are all white supremacists. I'm like, okay, that's a complete fallacy and complete made-up bullshit, but I'll humor you. If we have a problem with white supremacy in law enforcement, then wouldn't it make sense for states to be constitutional carry? Because if I can't trust the cops to protect me and to come help me out when I need them, how the hell am I supposed to protect myself? Anyway, let's get into this article here. So, Governor Greg Abbott has signed Texas constitutional carry legislation, allowing Texans over the age of 21 to open carry handguns in public without a license. It's more than just open carry; it's concealed carry. Houston Chronicle is fucking woke as fuck, so we'll go through the muck here as usual. But yes, you still have to go through the background check when you buy your weapon. You know, they still have to process everything, and it still takes a couple days depending on what you're doing. But you know, you pass your federal background check, and you're good to go. Now, the bill also allows it to where anybody can own a firearm without having to go through training and all that other stuff. Now, I recommend that. If you're a person that's interested in this, I recommend that you learn the basics and things like that. But at the same time, I'm a very strict constitutionalist, okay? What part of shall not be infringed upon do you motherfuckers don't understand, okay? I don't want to get into this, oh, well, what if they're retarded, or what if they've got mental disorders, or what if this and that, or what if this and that, and all these whataboutisms, okay? The Constitution doesn't have time for whataboutisms. It's straight fucking forward. And then like, well, it says, well, regulated militia. Oh, were you part of the militia? Yes! Anybody can be part of the militia. A well-regulated militia is literally any person who owns a firearm that regularly trains. Anybody can be part of that militia. The militia are the citizens. How many times I got to explain that to you chuckle fucks out there on Twitter and even on Gab and other social media sites, Facebook and shit. Not that I'm on Facebook, because that's Chinese spyware bullshit. But I know people, and I've seen posts on Facebook from screenshots and shit. But, doesn't really matter. The law, a huge win for gun rights advocates, was one of the most controversial measures passed this session. Bill supporters said the legislation would simply restore Second Amendment rights to law-abiding Texans. That's right. Damn right it would. While critics, cucks, have said the move will only lead to more gun violence. No. The exact opposite. It's a Chinese finger trap. I keep telling you people. It's a Chinese finger trap. You pull and it gets tighter and tighter. No. The answer is more guns. Simple. See, the criminals already have guns illegally. Alright, so if I can own a gun, right, legally, then I cancel out the criminal, on paper, right? That's the idea. The funny thing is, I probably spend way more time at the gun range than any motherfucking criminal that's going to break into any motherfucking house tonight. Guarantee it. Okay? Abbott signed the legislation Wednesday afternoon without immediate comment, per the state's online bill tracker. His office sent out an immediate advisory shortly afterwards, saying the governor would hold a ceremony in San Antonio on Thursday to sign the several bills related to gun rights, including permitless carry. That's so good. I love it. Yeah, he signed it at the fucking Alamo. Fucking what a G. Well, the Alamo Plaza, but pretty much the Alamo. The law will remove the state's $40 fee to obtain a handgun license and will take away training requirements. While gun advocates say they aren't against safety courses. Exactly. Dude, I tell you, if you're a brand new gun owner, learn about your gun. Go get a gun. Go take some training classes. Learn your gun, man. Learn your basics, man. Go out to the shooting range. Get your shot straight, okay? I'm telling you, man, my girlfriend's actually kind of excited about this because she's been wanting to go to the gun range with me, and she's been wanting to learn how to shoot and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And now, September 1st, she's totally gonna get into the action here, so she's excited about that, honestly. And listen, man, I honestly feel safer with her having a gun in her purse, when she's out and about, and her sisters. Listen, okay, so my girlfriend takes care of her niece and nephew. Her sister works late nights every once in a while at the hospital because she's a nurse. Well, she's a nurse's aide, but she works late nights at the hospital. Every once in a while, my girlfriend will watch the kids every so often. And they don't live in the best neighborhood. It's not a terrible neighborhood, but there have been things that have happened in the neighborhood, and I feel a little safer with her and the kids there if she's, armed. Just, and she's told me the same thing. So, listen, this is good things. And there are some caveats here. Texas is still forbidding from carrying guns in schools, obviously. And private businesses that have, the signs and stuff, which I'm totally for too. You don't want to be in an IHOP late at night and a bunch of dudes are all drunk and getting pancakes, and someone knocks someone's pancakes over, and all of a sudden you got a gunfight between a bunch of stupid idiots over some fucking pancakes. But at the same time, if I'm in that IHOP parking lot and someone's trying to jack my car, good luck. The measure, House Bill 1927, did not pass the legislature without fanfare. At one point in March, it appeared all but dead after Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, the leader of the Senate and the upper chamber, didn't have the votes to pass it. The bill had faced opposition not only from gun reform advocates and Democrats, but also from law enforcement officers who said the legislation would make their jobs more difficult. Okay, here's any law enforcement officer who says that bullshit is lying. Straight up. He's lying. Okay? He's a corrupt authoritarian that doesn't want you to have guns. He wants to have the guns. He wants to hold the authority over you. Okay? That's not from me. That's from my uncle who's a deputy sheriff in my county. He's told me any cop that's for any type of gun legislation that restricts firearms in the hands of citizens is an authoritarian. It is not to be trusted. You don't want to trust that cop. You don't want that cop showing up at your door, because he's going to be the bad cop. Okay? The good cop says, yes, give citizens guns. That way when I get to the scene, the perp's probably already taken care of, and all I gotta do is put the cuffs on him and take him to the hospital. Or the morgue, whichever one's fit. By working together, the House and the Senate will send Governor Abbott the strongest Second Amendment legislation in Texas history and protect the rights of law-abiding Texans to carry a handgun as they exercise their God-given right to self-defense and defense of their families. State Representative Matt Schaefer. I love that. Matt Schaefer, Republican Tyler. I could just see that guy with the fucking American flag waving behind his ass as he fucking just, giving that fucking tweet out. It's fucking hilarious. Now, this leads to my second deal here. And I've mentioned this before, and I'll mention this on Twitter, and I mention this all the fucking time. Gun laws are fucking racist. Okay? They are. I do this every fucking time, and if any fucking libtard comes up here and is trying to be all anti-gun, you just pull out these little ditties right here from Washington Square News, okay? Gun control has a racist past. Okay, so we'll go down here, and I've picked up some parts here. The story of gun control begins with the inception of this country. Gun control legislation passed as early as the colonial period. The first law in America that mentioned black people was 1664 Act that prevented free black Virginians from owning guns. After the Nat Turner Rebellion in 1831, southern states adopted even stricter measures in preventing free and enslaved black Americans from gun ownership. The laws were upheld in the courts when challenged as violations in the Second Amendment. Take, for example, the 1844 North Carolina Supreme Court case, State v. Newsom. After the Civil War, a major aspect of the Black Code passed was the preventing of black gun ownership. The passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1866 declared that many of these black codes were unacceptable, so racist Southern governments attempted to circumvent the laws. Tennessee passed the Army and Navy law, which only permitted expensive military-grade guns to be sold and used, effectively isolating black Americans from the market. Since they could not afford these military-grade guns, they were not able to protect themselves. Laws like these were commonplace in the South, leaving many black Americans unarmed to defend themselves against the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacist hate groups. See, I didn't know that. That's actually kind of brilliant. The exact opposite. Just make the gun so damn expensive. You know, you can't own you can't own a handgun. You gotta own an AK-47. Okay. But because guns are so cheap and prevalent, that's not gonna work nowadays because anybody can own a gun. The North also overlooked the need of black Americans and their need for protection. After a dramatic rise in immigration from Eastern and Southern Europe during the 19th and early 20th century, only then did serious gun control measures come into fruition. The first of the widespread restrictions of guns came in New York, the hub of European immigration, as the Sullivan Law in 1911. The law required a permit from the New York City Police Department to own a firearm, but the people who approved of these permits were anti-black and anti-immigrant police. From 1911 to 1934, multiple states, including Arkansas, Michigan, and North Carolina, adopted similar laws. So, yeah, I can go on. There's a few more here. The article is not too long, but I also want to look at this little opinion piece here. Now, this one talks about how gun control is a form of institutional racism, and leftists love talking about institutional racism. You say institutional racism in front of a leftist, and they will not shut the fuck up. So this is a little ammo you can pull up here. So, gun control is just another form of institutional racism. So, institutional racism describes a negative, debilitating effect implemented by an institution, such as a government or a particular racial group. Consider this question. Which racial group suffers the most as a result of extreme gun control laws? When ignorant and arrogant politicians proudly pass new gun control laws, who is most effective? What does institutional racism have to do with gun laws? Here's the answer. When elected officials pass more and increasingly extreme gun laws, all with harsh and lasting penalties, the results show that it's people of color, especially black men, who suffer the effects and are disproportionately incarcerated because of it. Exactly. It's pretty good, huh? So, all you gotta say is, listen, most black people end up in jail because of gun laws. That's all you gotta say to these people. It's institutional racism. It's brilliant shit. Living life as a felon in long-term incarceration has debilitating negative impact. Gun violence makes up a disproportionate number of convictions of those incarcerated. In 2018 fiscal year, 56.2% of those convicted of federal firearms violations were black. 96.3% were men. The average age of conviction was 32. So, geez, that's some pretty interesting numbers, man. So more than half of federal firearms violations were done by blacks, and specifically black men, and they were all in their 30s. Interesting. In the 2016 fiscal year, black offenders were convicted of firearms offenses carrying a mandatory minimum and subjected to that penalty more often than other racial groups. 52.6%, 53.8% respectively, according to the U.S. Census Commission. So basically, a black guy's pretty likely to end up in prison for a long time for gun laws. Here's another little ditty I got for you here. In 1833, Florida made it legal for white citizen patrols to search the homes of blacks, seize any weapons found there, and similarly punish the violators without any due process whatsoever if they could provide a valid explanation for possession of firearms. A slave code in North Carolina was upheld by the state Supreme Court in 1844 that said that free blacks could be prohibited from owning firearms because they were not citizens. The U.S. Supreme Court echoed that same ruling in 1857 in Dred Scott versus Stanford. Nauseous yet? This guy's a troll. Pretty good. Yeah, look. I'll link all this shit. You can read all this. But look, gun laws are racist. Hell, if a cop is against the Second Amendment or is for these is against these constitutional carry laws, he's a fucking racist. That's right. He's a fucking racist. That's all I gotta tell him. You're a fucking racist. So next time a person tells you that guns should be outlawed and you're a moron for believing in the Second Amendment and the ability to protect yourself and your family, you just tell them they're fucking racist. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. If you like what you see, like what you hear, go and like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm also on Twitter, Gab, and Minds, guys. Go and follow me on social media. I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.